Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me. Welcome to Chit Chat with QT. The views that I express are my own personal opinions and reactions for research and commentary, and everything is alleged. Join me while I discuss hot topics, reality TV, celebrity news, and more. Please make sure to like the video, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. So let's get into this video, guys. Now, with me going live after the episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville this past Saturday, I feel like I've discussed most of what I felt about the episode. So what I'll do over these next couple videos is basically just give my thoughts on some of the scenes. So first, I want to definitely jump right on in to Miss Latisha and Mel's conversation, as well as Tisha's confessional about Mel. So in the episode, Tisha and Mel sat down for a talk, and Tisha is basically interviewing Mel, if you ask me. She had a list of questions, wanted to know all the details, and for what? You are not Mel's friend, and your confessional definitely proves that. But they sit down, and Mel asks Tisha how much longer they plan to be there. And for me, basically, they were there to collect a paycheck because the Holts are in Destin and then the Scotts are in Pensacola. That was set up by the producers. Tisha and Marceau came to collect information, film a scene, and collect their paycheck. But Tisha tells Mel that they're going to go back, they're going to pack up things, and they'll be leaving first thing in the morning. And then she gets into her interview process. So Tisha says, so everything's good? And Mel states, yeah, no issues. Tisha asks, is that what you expected? Mel says, that's what I was hopeful for. Tisha then asks, what made her invite Martell? Mel says she was just trying to get to a place to be mentally strong enough and to be able to basically co-parent. That's where she is. And that's why she invited Martell. That she had processed everything that she went through, and she was now okay with him being in her space for the kids. Mel also let Tisha know that she didn't let the pressure of other people and what they felt like things should be, or when they felt like her and Martell should be able to do this or that it was her process that she had to come to alone. And then Tisha said in that moment now, not what she said in the confessional, that's a good place to be in because no one else has control over you anymore. Tisha goes on with her interview and she asks Mel, what work did you do or steps that you take to get to where you are right now? And I was thinking with all of these questions, Tisha, are you internally mapping out your plan to leave? But anyway, Mel tells her self-reflection, spending time with herself, healing, processing everything, and letting it out. And after doing that, she's now at peace and she's fine. And Mel basically said in her confessional that she knows that what her and Martell had looked like the picture-perfect family, but she's totally let that go. So she does not wake up with any regrets of what could have been or how it looked or whatever the case may be. She knows that when she filed for divorce, it was the right decision. And then we get to Tisha's confessional. And she said, word for word, she hopes that having this alone time has brought Mel the peace she's looking for. She then says, Mel is good at portraying what she wants you to see, and you never know what the real truth is, and that sometimes Mel is so good at portraying things that she fools herself. And I thought to myself, the audacity. What real truth have we seen from you, Tisha? We've seen you begging to work. We've seen you portraying to be this big boss. We've seen you accepting the fact that you will be a stay-at-home mom in spite of your degrees because that's what your husband wants. And yet, Mel is fooling herself. You're not fooling yourself. We've seen the truth of what was going on with Mel and Martell, but we haven't seen anything when it comes to Tisha and Marceau. We've seen the truth of Mel's process of leaving Martell. We've seen Mel fighting for her marriage before she got to that point. We saw all the scenes last season when the divorce was still fresh and Mel and Martell couldn't even be in each other's space, namely the Vegas trip. We saw that. We saw the hurt that Mel was in, the pain that Mel was in. We saw Mel leave her husband. We've seen Mel pick up the pieces and move on with her life. But yet, she's fooling herself? No, fooling herself would have been remaining in that situation. Sort of like you remaining with Marceau. Fooling herself would have been continuing to know what the hell her husband was doing and deciding to remain in that mess. But it amazed me to see Tisha being the one to point out that Mel is fooling herself when we know Tisha. No, you're the fool. We've seen your husband disrespect you. We've seen your husband refuse to even renew his wedding vows with you. We've seen him treat you like you are a second-class citizen and that it's his way or the highway. And like I said earlier, basically since season 1, we've seen you begging to be independent. But you got the nerve to say Mel is fooling herself. I'm sorry, that shit just irked the hell out of me. Because of all people, Tisha is talking about someone else being a fool. That newlywed game that they all played showed that Tisha does everything how Marceau wants shit to be, and that he does nothing when it comes to the kids, not even taking the son to get a haircut. Now, I'm sure he has to go and get his grooming done. I'm assuming that. Yet Tisha is in charge of taking the son to get his haircut like she's a single mom. Tisha's confessional proved to me, and I'm sure it proved to Mel yet again, that she made the right decision when she cut Tisha off. Here it is. Mel was trying to let her guard down, welcome them in her space, shared her personal opinions to Tisha, and then Tisha shows her true colors in her confessional. Mel answered too many questions, if you ask me, because I wouldn't have told Tisha shit. Because, chick, you know what the hell I went through with Martell. Hell, you made it a point to mention it every chance you could get during the earlier seasons of this show. You mentioned the side chick. You mentioned the matching BMWs. You did that, Tisha. Season 1. But yet you sit here and say Mel is fooling herself? For what? Leaving? No, Tisha. Some women just don't have the desire to remain stuck on stupid. Like accepting that their husband went on a whole solo trip to Africa and you didn't have a clue. That's fooling yourself. Or your husband saying he was with Chris Fletcher in Atlanta, yet Chris says He was there for a few hours and then went to what? New York, I think it was. You accepting that answer is fooling yourself, Tisha. And I can go on and on and on as far as what we've seen that will show that Tisha is fooling herself. The nerve and the audacity, if you ask me, of the person who said herself, her husband told her she doesn't even have a voice. The nerve. But you can critique someone and say that they're fooling themselves. I cannot. But you guys, drop down in the comments. Let me know if you watched the scene, your thoughts on Tisha's confessional. Because I was appalled. I really was. And as a woman, for Tisha to know exactly what Mel went through, she had the nerve to say Mel is fooling herself. So drop down, guys. Let's chit chat about it. Like I mentioned earlier, I will have a few more videos of just some of my thoughts. I want to discuss Martell and Marceau's conversation. I want to discuss Martell's confessional and him seemingly getting choked up at the end, so much so that he had to get up and walk out. Was that an act or was that real? So yeah, I'll be dropping a few more videos, but as I mentioned, drop down in the comments. Let's chit chat about it. Please also make sure to like the video, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. Chat with you soon. Bye.